Charlie and I are going to cruise through some travel tips and knowledge. And don't miss out on me answering another frequently asked question that could keep you steering straight. And stay tuned to hear an unforgettable experience from one of our technical trainers.
Emily!
Charlie, what are you doing?
Well, don't forget about me in here.
That's a hard one to forget, Charlie. I would never.
Well, before we leave, I wanted to go over a couple of concepts related to safety and towing inside the classroom. You got time for that?
I think that's a great idea before our trip. I'll finish up here and I'll meet you in there.
Okay.
All right.
Don't leave me in here.
I would never dream of it. Okay, I am ready to hear these concepts and the trailer's ready to be hitched, so let's go.
Well, these three concepts are safety related, and they're weight capacity, weight distribution, and angles. And all three of those are really important items that each driver needs to take into consideration. And I'd like to dive a little deeper into each one of those with you to fill in the big picture.
Okay, it looks like you're ready to tackle some weight capacity stuff right here.
So let me orient you to what I put together here. So we have UVW and curb weight. They're identical. Only the UVW references the RV itself, and these little symbols inside there represent different types of liquids. So we have fresh water, gray water tank, the black water tank, and gas. And why are those important? Because they add a lot of weight, and they're in different pieces and parts of the RV. So if they're full, we need to take those into consideration. Now the curb weight, like I said, it's the same thing as UVW, only you remove all your luggage and all your people out of the truck. It's just the truck. So the next rating I want to talk to you about is called the gross vehicle weight rating. And that rating is individually assigned to each vehicle. So each one of these vehicles have a little plate in them that say the GVWR for each vehicle. So what I mean by that is the truck has a maximum amount of weight you can put on there.
And that includes what you're towing and what you're putting in the bed of the truck, right? And the people that are going in the car. Okay.
Everything, yeah. But it's only for this. And then also the RV has a GVWR. And we can combine those for a gross vehicle combined weight. What's important here is this is a rating that says, hey, this is how much you can put in each vehicle. However, we're not going to recommend that. We're going to give you a gross vehicle weight of 20 to 25%. So this is the actual weight. So if you drive your truck onto one of those scales, this is what you're going to have. And it should be 20 to 25% less than the GVWR.
Okay, so we're kind of building on that original unloaded vehicle weight or dry weight of everything just being bare bones and empty, and everything that you add into your truck or your trailer will give you your gross vehicle weight, and that should be 20 to 25% lower than the gross vehicle weight rating.
Yeah, correct.
Is there a reason that it should be that much lower?
Well, we all know that we accidentally add stuff here or there, and we don't know what kind of roads we're going to drive on, and so there's variables. So we like to give you that 20 to 25%.
And I imagine not everybody's racing off to the truck scales to weigh their truck and their camper. So I think staying below that 20 to 25% of that maximum allowable rating keeps you in that like green safe zone, because I know overloading can wreak havoc all over the place.
Yeah, because you have basically 4 or 5 different tanks that have different types of liquids, and you have no idea. You went camping, you're coming home, you might have added some, you might not have. So you don't know. So trying to keep at that level is really safe. So you might be asking yourself, why is this so important? Why does it make it safe if it's not heavy or if it's not light, whatever, right? So in each one of these vehicles, you have axles, you have a full suspension, you have tires, and a lot of variables that bear all of that weight. If you have 2 axles in your truck and 1 or more axles in your RV, and that weight is too much on them, you can see how going around a curve or going over a bump can cause safety issues. And furthermore, we have tongue weight. So when you slide this RV up and hook it up to the truck itself, and a lot of the weight's going to be on the A-frame and the hitch of the truck, and that makes it one vehicle. Now we're dealing with one vehicle because they're hooked together. So you can just see that if you put the weight way in the back, it's going to lift the A-frame up, or if you put it way in the front, it's going to push it all the way down onto the hitch of the truck. And that's going to vary a lot of the suspensions.
So that kind of starts sliding into your second concept of weight distribution and really understanding the effect that what you're loading into your truck bed, into your camper. Make sure you don't put all of your eggs into one part or they're going to break.
Right.
So, and a lot of times you'll find that your tanks, like your black water tank is towards the back, or your gray tank is also towards the back. Sometimes your freshwater tank will be in the center, and accommodating for that weight that's already pre-planned into the trailer. You also have to add in that you're throwing beds and people and camping chairs, and make sure that you have a whole hog to roast once you get to the campground. So making sure that it's distributed throughout the whole thing, I can see why it plays such a big role into being able to drive and tow safely.
Yeah, you have to look at the vehicles individually. Then when it's hooked up, you have to look at it as a whole, and you have to balance all that stuff out, and it needs to be lower than that. Does that make sense? Those are my concepts.
So. Is there anything else that could play into the weight distribution situation?
Yeah, and it depends on what type of RV you have, and it depends on the weight and all that, but there are weight distribution bars that you integrate into your truck and hook up to the A-frame of your RV that allow that pressure to be on the truck equally. And there's also sway bars that you can put on there, so depending upon the balance of the weight can keep you driving down the road in a straight manner.
So are there any concerns, or are there any signs of overloading that people should look out for when they are doing their annual inspection or loading up their camper?
Sure. Tires, that's the big one. When you're looking at tires and they're wearing prematurely or on one side, one of the things that people don't really understand is axles have a camber and they have a curve to them. So if you put too much weight, they'll straighten up and you won't have that toe that you want with your tires going forward, and then it just snowballs from there. And also, I mean, tire wear in and of itself is a sign of all of that.
Well, and I think like me and you have experienced this. We've worked on several campers now where the axles on the camper is losing that built-in camber, and it's causing excessive wear on the tires. Yep. And people just think, oh no, I'm getting bad tires, and they don't really realize the underlying cause of the excessive wear on those components. That camber and those springs play such a crucial role for towing, so I can see why people don't really notice them, but they are very important.
Yeah.
So I'll cover angles if you want. So there's 3 main angles you should keep in mind while towing vehicles, and that is approach angle, departure angle, and the breakover angle. And these all kind of play into not only towing, but also installing aftermarket products, or if you have any repairs that you have to do to your camper. Approach and departure angle, you find those doing the same measurements, but essentially you can take a string from the front of your camper, the lowest part underneath the frame, to the bottom part of the wheel, and that will give you your approach angle. And then that same string you can take to the rear, to the under frame of the camper, and that's the departure angle. And that's the lowest maximum height you have for installing products without it hitting the ground while you're towing. But I think the funnest angle that plays in my mind is that breakover angle, because that is the maximum angle you have for breaking over the crest of like a hill or a speed bump.
How do you measure that?
You go from the lowest point of that front
Same.
tire to that cross. It's just going to make a cross. So you go from the lowest point to the highest point of the frame, and then same from back here. And that line needs to cross over each other. Normally if you want a higher breakover angle, you have to have a higher suspension. So that's where like airbags or a overslung leaf spring really plays a difference in that angle. Are you ready to go camping?
Yeah, I'm done with PowerPoints.
Okay, let's hit the road.
Let's hit it. Today we've covered several important procedures. For comprehensive demonstrations of these procedures in action, visit and subscribe to our Lippert YouTube page.
And if you prefer reading detailed step-by-step instructions, our support site at support.lci1.com has you covered. Click the links in the description below to learn more. You know, something I didn't really realize before I started working at the Technical Institute is that people don't realize that they need to burnish their brakes once they leave the dealership with their RV.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that the OEMs actually don't burnish the brakes, so you have to do that basically on the way home.
And it's such an important procedure that we created a video that encompasses two different techniques to burnishing trailer brakes. One is for the skilled technician and the other is standard. Another thing that burnishing your brakes can do for you is if it's not reaching that 350 to 400 degrees, that's telling you that the brake's not operating or engaging correctly. So you can go through and check that the brake magnet is actually actuating, or you need to do that brake adjustment.
There's basically two types of brakes, self-adjusting and manual adjust. And if you have the self-adjusting, obviously it's going to make those micro adjustments along while you're braking during the year. But if not, if they're manual adjust, once a year you need to go out there and adjust those brakes to make up for that brake wear.
That's also another procedure that we talk about during our trainings for our in-person classes, and we created a video for.
Are you trying to get people to watch our videos?
I would never do that.
We are here, so let's go ahead and set up camp.
Let's go. What is the difference between trailer ABS and trailer sway control? Both systems are designed to enhance the safety and stability of a trailer during towing, but these systems utilize different technologies to accomplish these tasks. Trailer anti-locking braking systems' main purpose is to prevent the trailer's wheels from locking up during braking, which can help maintain steer control and prevent skidding. These systems use sensors on the trailer's wheels to detect when they are experiencing loss of traction or wheel lockup. If this happens while the driver is actuating the brakes, the ABS module will take control of the trailer's brakes and will rapidly apply and release the brakes, which allows the tires to regain traction. This improves braking performance, particularly in wet or slippery conditions, aiding in maintaining control during emergency braking. Now, trailer sway control functions a little differently. The main purpose of sway control is to reduce or eliminate side-to-side oscillation that can occur while towing. Higher speeds and windy conditions add to the likelihood of you experiencing trailer sway while towing. There are 2 types of sway control systems that can be installed. One is hardware that's added to a weight distribution hitch. This hardware uses friction material to provide resistance while still allowing your vehicle to properly turn. This is an inexpensive solution, but not ideal on its own. The other option is an electronic sway control system. This type of sway control has a module that monitors the trailer's orientation. And when it detects dangerous trailer movement, the system automatically applies the brakes to stabilize the trailer and combat sway. This enhances towing stability, preventing the trailer from swaying excessively, which can lead to loss of control. In a few words, trailer ABS focuses on braking control, while sway control manages lateral stability. ABS activates during braking, while sway control works continuously. And lastly, ABS is aimed at preventing wheel lockup during braking, whereas sway control prevents dangerous side-to-side motion.
Liking what you're watching? Stay connected with us by subscribing to the Lippert Technical Institute YouTube channel.
When you subscribe, you'll get access to the newest content and episodes and everything Lippert.
Well, now that we're here, what are we gonna do?
Well, I have a surprise for you.
I hate your surprises, I really do.
You'll love this one.
I don't think so.
Well, I put a few questions that are really common for people who are new to towing campers together, and I thought we could go through and kind of talk through a few of them.
Well, that's different because I like questions. Hit me.
Is the hitch the right one for your vehicle and towing needs?
Well, there's really 2 factors to consider when you're putting a hitch on a vehicle. The towing capacity of the towing vehicle, and you can get that from the manufacturer's or the owner's manual, and what you're towing. So the second question is, how much weight do you plan to tow?
Ooh, that is a really good question because, you know, you can plan on one thing, but that doesn't mean everything's going to go to plan. You have to really accommodate for the weight that you're going to pack into your camper, if that's what you're towing, whether it's a 5th wheel or a travel trailer. You have to make sure that you have that margin of error and that your tow vehicle can accommodate for that. That's why going through all of the math for the weight capacity between your tow vehicle and camper is so important for you to understand. How do you figure out your vehicle's towing capacity?
Yeah, that's a really good question because everybody is focused on the RV itself or whatever you're towing, but you need to understand what your towing capacity is of your towing vehicle, and you'll find that on the data plate inside the door. So I got a question for you.
I'm ready.
So what kind of accessories do you need when you're towing something like an RV?
You know, that really comes down to individual preferences and individual needs. Not everybody's needs are going to align with another person's, and you can add many things to your tow vehicle and trailer. For instance, we have the weight distribution added to ours to put a little less weight on that, or spread that weight more on that axle of the tow vehicle. And we also have that sway control to help us really steer straight. So it really depends on individual needs. And you can also do external tow packages on your truck because we have like the inline curts that can be added, and you know, you want to make sure you have everything synced up. Brake lights work, and you can get extra brake lights that you can add on to whatever you're towing as well.
Like the Kurt Echo that you're talking about? Is that? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I heard you did a video on that once.
I did. I did. But that's a good accessory. That's a good example.
How does somebody look up the towing laws for their state or the area that they're traveling in?
Most states have similar laws when it comes to towing vehicles. There's length, there's width, there's weight, all those types of things. I would go ahead and go to the link below here to take a look at your specific state laws, but it's very important to look at those. All right, Emily, I got a good one. Are your hitch and trailer hooked up properly?
Probably not, but there are a few ways that you can tell if you've connected everything properly. You want to make sure that hitch is fully engaged with that coupler, that your tow chains are attached to the truck and in that X cross pattern to catch the trailer in case it disengages, and your safety breakaway is wrapped around your tow vehicle and securely connected so that it can actively engage in that emergency situation.
Gotcha. Is there anything else? Maybe a 7-way plug?
Ooh, there is a 7-way plug. Not all trailers, to be fair, have 7-way plugs.
That's true. That's
so
true.
If you're,
might want to check it though.
Yeah, if you have a 7-way plug for your trailer, you want to make sure that's engaged and plugged in properly, and then test all of your turn signals.
That's key.
Next question.
Okay.
Does your vehicle have airbags?
Now you're talking about the airbag suspension type thing?
Yes.
Well, you can obviously look in your owner's manual, but most people know if they have it or not. But it's definitely a great tool to give the ride of your RV a more stable ride down the road, and it helps the suspension. All right, Emily, got another question. What size ball is required on your tow vehicle?
Ooh, that is a really good question. And again, it goes back to what you are doing for your specific setup. Are you towing a trailer that requires a larger ball for your hitch? So that ball needs to fully engage in that coupler to make sure that it is safely in place, it's not going to disconnect later on, and it's not going to break or become damaged from the weight of what you're towing. Last question. Do you have grease and do you know where to use it?
Well, I assume you're talking about on a hitch ball. And the answer is yes, I do. It's really recommended to keep grease on that, keeps the rust from building up on it, and it makes your hitch ball last longer. And it's also very helpful when you hook up. Sometimes the ball and the coupler get stuck. So it's important to keep that greased properly.
I've seen a few people use it on the plate when they're hitching their fifth wheel to make it glide in place a little bit easier.
Sure, yeah, and it'll probably keep it from rusting too.
I was replacing my first gas strut on an awning. I didn't read the document first, right? I looked at it, it's 2 pins. How hard could it be? I'm a big guy, I got, nice grip in my hands. I did it the way that looked like it would just be the right way, just thinking about it. Gripped the gas strut, popped the star washer off, pulled the pin out, went to ease it back towards the coach and try and compress down and pop out. As I did so, it shot up against the mount arm there, pinched my fingers in between. I was stuck in place. I had to pry the gas strut off to get my hand free. After doing that, I thought there's no way it's that difficult and dangerous. There's no way. And so I pulled up the app, pulled up the documents. There's literally a TI sheet on how to do that. Instead of undoing it there, it was undo the pitch arm up at the outer arm, ease everything down while you support the arm. And that process was so much easier and safer. We've all been more brawn than brain on some occasion, and it gets you.
Got a story, Aaron?
Always. One thing that I learned very quickly when working on RVs is keep your mouth shut. So what I mean by that is I'm a talker. I love to talk. Everybody knows that knows me. Well, something I learned very quickly was I was pulling my first ever underbelly. I was pulling an underbelly. I was going in to replace, well, I wasn't replacing it. I was actually checking it to do some diagnostics on a rear sensor for a leveling system, which is actually up in the underbelly. And I'm sitting there just jabber-jawing away, talking, and right as I look up to pull that underbelly down, I took a mouse nest right to the mouth.
Oh, no.
So, not just hit me in the face, mouth wide open, mid-sentence, right into my mouth. So, although the guy that was helping me learn was crying because he was laughing so hard, it was quite comical, but I learned a very hard lesson that day of whenever you're crawling under, mouth shut, right? The safety glasses, that's the easy part. Keep your mouth shut.
Welcome to your Lippert Technical Institute. Are you ready to elevate your skills and knowledge? Whether you're aiming to advance your career or expand your expertise, our free online courses are here to support you. With tailored content on over 30 products, we cater to both technicians and owners, with new additions regularly. Registration is free and easy. Visit lippert.learnupon.com and register. Once logged in, your personalized homepage will keep you updated on your learning journey. And you can click on Catalog at the top and select from a diverse range of courses. We are thrilled to introduce our new Slide Out Learning Path program for technicians. Developed in collaboration with RVTI, this program offers a structured path to achieve your RVTI Level 3 Slide Out certification. This will not only certify you, but also set you on the path to becoming a qualified Lippert Slide Out technician. Stay tuned for more updates as we continuously expand and enhance our content. Start your journey today with Lippert Technical Institute and unlock your potential. Visit lippert.learnupon.com to get started now.
Those are really good questions, and it was a lot of fun to film outdoors.
I think it's my turn to drive next time.
Drive the truck?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, I've seen your car before.
That's rude.
Join us next time as we go through a few steps on how to pack up camp.
Thanks for joining us on our travels today. And if you like this content and want to see more, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the Lippert Technical Institute channel.